Good evening, Dr. Hickey and class. What you are seeing before you is the making of the organizational chart for our department, which is the special education department. Last year, I had the pleasure to work on the handbook for our department, and that was a feat in itself of maybe a year and a half of work. And within that, making of or putting together of our handbook, I had to list all the roles and responsibilities of all the staff. So with that in mind, from there I just built on fixing up our organizational chart, and that's what you are looking at here, which was the first draft. I worked on trying to get a site-based decision-making team going within the department as well, and you'll see where that ended up in a little bit. So this is my first draft, which had the director on top, assistant director, our assessment staff, our teachers within our department, our contracted staff, and then off of site-based decision-making, built in a department-based decision-making team, a little shoot or offshoot off of site-based. Director has line items down as far as office staff, our nurse, data entry clerks, and our counselors, and then that district or our department-based decision-making team, which we put into place this year. We have an art facilitator, takes care of the custodial staff, our department technology staff. So this was the first run that I had with the organizational chart. That led up to my second working draft, which is, as you can see here, looks a little cleaner. And the office staff, when they typed it out, put site-based, so everything that you do always has to be checked exceptionally carefully. It's looking a little bit neater here, and as you can see, all the lines are connected because it's important that just like you have layers or multi-tiered, you also want a little bit of what's called a flat organization where everybody has their role and is directly tied to one another. All stakeholders need to be involved with what goes on within a department. And I had a note to myself because this is a new word, going to be a new word for us here within the department, which is our DBDM, Department-Based Decision-Making Team. We took a vote, and all of the different staffs or groups that we have within our special education department is represented in our decision making team, and that seems to be working out fairly well. We were having staff meetings, and those staff meetings sometimes were up of 3 hours in length, and when we met, not all the personnel that we work with had to be at the meetings. In other words, sometimes we went an hour on staff development, say with items that were directly tied to contracted staff but had nothing to do with assessment staff or with the teachers. So what we have done now is made little mini, this department-based decision-making team has reps from each area. So we meet with a decision-based team, and they in turn turn over the information to their mini departments, and we meet once a week as a whole staff. But in those meetings, we've managed to cut down our time considerably, allowing for our department to run a little bit more effectively, more efficiently, and more expeditiously. Like I said, it's very important to always check all the work that your staff does. This chart was put into the handbook that we released maybe 2 weeks ago. And when I looked at it again, something struck me a little different, and I noticed that our secretarial staff had put assistant director and listed the name, assessment staff and listed the name, but in reviewing this again, then I noticed that the teacher box was completely gone. So, and that was just a human error. So whenever you work on anything, make sure you keep your originals and make sure that you go back and check that everything is exactly as you want it typed. Thank you very much for your time and have a great evening.